I'm Dr. Ana York Bondok. Our program is Libreng Consulta. I am an internist, congresswoman, wife of a mayor, mom of an 8-year-old na talagang dumating po si Santa sa buhay ni Benji ngayon, kahapon po. So very happy child po siya. He got a few gifts, not a lot, but he's more than happy. So I hope that your Christmas was okay. And di ba, sabi nga nila, uso yung mga horror stories sa Christmas. So let's go back to the present horror story, which is the UK COVID virus mutation na kumakalat na po sa UK. And hot topic po talaga ito as our government has recently required po yung mga UK to show negative negative swab tests. Actually, the US has required the UK to show negative swab tests, and the Philippines hinold po muna ang mga UK flights. And all throughout Europe po, naho-hold ngayon ang mga UK travelers unless they complete a 14-day quarantine. And sa Pilipinas, naka-hold po muna ang mga UK flights. So, direct flights po from the UK. So, magandang hapon po, and let's start. It's actually quite a difficult topic. I'm trying to, to research further. It's really quite a difficult topic. Ako man nahirapan kahit doktor. I read so many advisories po of kapwa doctors who are very well known, like Dr. Edsel Salvania and Dr. Melvin Sanicas were actually friends of mine. And really, siguro it took me a long time, and I'm still understanding the topic, but more importantly, it's really taking me some time to gel it into useful information. Kasi it's really very scientific and quite difficult, but we'll do our best po to explain it to you kung ano po itong UK variant. Even my husband is asking what is a variant versus a mutation. What should the government do? Dangerous ba to sa atin, and ano ba solusyon nito? Okay? So, what happened nga ba? So, our topic, UK COVID mutation, please help me. And our letter that we receive is, Dear Doktora, meron po akong anak who is a nurse in the UK and working in a hospital. Ngayon, may plano po sila sanang umuwi sometime this March. Actually, buti na lang hindi ngayon, ma'am. Ngayon po, I'm just so worried about her safety and about can they go home given this new UK COVID mutation. So the question is, Dear Doktora, please help us at ano po ang dapat gawin regarding this, and should we panic? Okay? So, let's review first, ano ba talaga? First of all, ano bang nangyari? Okay, what really happened? At ba't nagkakaroon ng panic about this UK COVID mutation? Okay, the story is like this. In the UK, alam po, mag-backtrack muna tayo, no? Alam po natin na pumutok po yung COVID dun sa UK nung March, April, May. And it was really very serious infection, so that their Prime Minister, si Ginoong Boris Johnson, even got sick at na-ICU pa. Si Prince Charles got sick. Si Prince William got sick and just revealed it recently. Ang dami po talagang nagkasakit at namatay. Okay? So, come summer, nung June, July po, nasugpo po nila it did not completely go away, but definitely the cases went down to a manageable level. And there were some areas of the UK po that needed granular lockdowns. What's a granular lockdown? Yung certain places lang po yung lockdown, not the entire UK. But they noticed po that there were some areas in the UK that the infections remained pa rin. And this was some, pinag-aralan po nila yon, and they found out po na there have been changes in the virus. Okay? So, etong lately, etong November, December, parang umakyat na naman yung rates nila to the point na it's now 40,000 a day. Can you imagine that? 40,000 a day po. Sa Pilipinas, 2,000 pa lang, nagmumurahan na talaga, and everybody's so mad and so panicked and everything. Well, we should, because we cannot handle 40,000 a day, okay? But in in UK, it's now 40,000 a day. So talagang pinag-aralan po nila what is going on. So ano po ang nalaman nila? So nalaman din po nila there that their R number was going up. What's an R number? An R number po is the reproduction number po. At ang meaning po nun is hold on, i-check ko lang po, no? The R number, yun po yung ilan po yung may infect po, halimbawa po, nobody was vaccinated for a virus. For example po, yung measles, kung wala pong nabakunahan and somebody got into a jeep with measles, or into a big room, 15 people po will get sick. Ngayon po, the R number po or of COVID is 3. Kung hindi po mag-isolate, 3 talaga yung i-infect na isang tao. But if people are isolating themselves, then the R number became approximately less than 1. Excuse me. Buti na lang mag-isa ako, no? So it's a test po of how what's happening on the ground. Ngayon po, excuse me, sa UK po, napansin po nila, their R number went up from 1.1, ngayon naging 1.5. So gusto po nilang, they were studying it, and sabi nila, what's causing this? And they do have a genomic institute po in the UK. They have a big scientific area po doon na pinag-aaralan po ng mga scientists, and they found out kasi they genetically sequence all the COVIDs that they get, and nakapick up po sila ng isang very important new variant or new mutation. Ito po, it's called different names in different journals. It's called the N501Y. Sa BMJ po, or the British Journal of Medicine, it's called the VUI 2020-12-01. Excuse me. But basically, what it means po is that there is a mutation po on the spike of the protein, or the protein, the virus po is covered with proteins, and there was a mutation po in the protein that allows it to stick better and enter po the human cells faster. So basically, yung mutation po gave it an advantage versus persons. So para siyang mas nakakadikit, and then mas nakakapasok po siya. And so, yun po yung napansin po nilang mutation. Okay? So, the next question ang gusto po na malaman ngayon ng UK is, as of, according to the BMJ po, as of, nandito po, kinopya ko po ito, there's approximately, marami na po silang nalalaman regarding this, and that majority of the viruses po that they have isolated are still po the old strain. But meron na po silang napipick up na new strain. Ito po yung new variant na in the lab, it has been shown to be more transmissible or easier to enter po the cell. Okay. So yun po yung nalaman nila. Number 1, tumataas po yung mga rates nila, o baka naman hindi sila nagmamask, hindi po natin alam kasi this includes human behavior is also important po rito. Aside from the kind of the virus, the human behavior po. So what happened? Okay, so let's summarize. The UK po, napansin nila, paakyat na naman po yung cases nila. Since they have a genomic institute po that studies the variants, naka-pick up po sila ng mutation which is different from the old strain, which has a change po in the spike protein that allows it to enter the cells faster. So there are the reason that they're thinking po, it's not actually physically, it has not really been totally proven, but um, they are attributing the 40,000 cases a day to the fact po na baka itong variant na to ngayon na umiikot na po sa buong UK. And there have also been similar variants that they have picked up. Meron daw sa South Africa na very similar din po dun sa UK. Okay, so next question, ano ba yung mutation at bakit po nagmi-mutate yung mga viruses? Ang gandang tanong yun, ano? What is a mutation and why does it mutate? Okay, a virus po, a mutation po is a change in the genetic material of a cell or the virus po, no? And it can be transmitted to the daughter cells pababa. So, what do I mean? Mag-iiba po si virus. And then si virus po, manganganak. Sa pagpapanganak niya po, the new viruses are already the mutation. So, there's an original virus group. And then, there is a mutation. That mutation po, manganganak siya. And he will pass down that mutation to the succeeding viruses. Okay? Why do mutations occur? Mutations po occur naturally in viruses because nagkakamali po yung genetic code or which can be spontaneous mistakes. And then somehow, if the mistake is beneficial to the virus will keep that mutation. If the mutation po is not good for the virus, mamamatay na lang po yung virus by itself. So basically, yung nagpa-perpetuate po yung virus na nakapag-mutate para lumakas siya or para maging mas makapit po siya sa mga tao o sa mga hosts. Why do we expect mutations and why do viruses mutate? They mutate kasi they reproduce so quickly na nagkakamali po yung genetic codes or the proteins as they are reproducing. Sa pagkamabilis po ng pagre-reproduce, nagkakamali po yung mga protina and that's what we call a mutation. Okay? How come some viruses mutate more than others? Okay, magandang tanong yon. Can you, and my husband asked me, can you give me an example of a virus that mutates? Okay, well, there are two kinds of viruses, the DNA virus and the RNA virus. And pupuntahan natin yan later on. It's very technical. Ako talaga nahirapan and I find it difficult to explain. Ano? But basically, the DNA virus is more stable po than the RNA virus. And ano ba yung mga DNA viruses na alam po natin? Well, the DNA virus is smallpox, ano? Smallpox, herpes, HPV. It is easier to make a vaccine for a DNA virus kasi hindi siya nagbabago. So yung bakuna mo, hindi rin magbabago. Forever and ever yung bakunang yun, okay na dun sa DNA virus. And that's why we have a smallpox that got eradicated. We have shingles virus. We have shingles vaccines. For HSV po, we have HPV, yun na cervical cancer vaccines po. So yun ang DNA. Now there are what we call the RNA virus. Yun po yung tinatawag po nating mas malikot because the RNA is more unstable. And may kulang po na reproducing step po si RNA. Si DNA may check. The RNA when it reproduces, wala siyang check. So talagang mas prone pong magkamali yung mga RNA viruses. What are these? Measles, SARS, HIV, rabies, dengue, MERS, ganun po. So yung RNA virus talagang may tendency po siya talagang as it reproduces so quickly, it makes mistakes. And as it makes mistakes, it changes some portion of the virus and that is what we call a mutation. Okay? And are all RNA viruses, ano po yung problema dito? Okay? And are all RNA viruses malikot? Well, hindi naman po talaga because one of the viruses po, people ask me how come HIV never had a vaccine? It's because from one, it can become 10 million in one day. So ang bilis po ng ano niya, ng reproduction niya. So sobrang bilis po ng reproduction niya, nagkakaroon po ng mabilis din pong mutations. And that is why HIV, mabilis pong maging immune sa mga drugs and kailangan po papatong-patong yung mga drugs para hindi humaunahan nung virus. And that is also why we don't have a vaccine kasi mahirap po talagang hulihin because malikot siya. However, isa pa rin pong malikot na virus or one po that changes yearly is the flu. There are two changes po to the flu every year. And that's why we need to be vaccinated po by flu yearly. There's an antigenic drift and an antigenic shift. Yung drift po, maliit na changes lang po yon, and that is hinahabol po ng flu virus. That's why every year, bago yung flu virus natin. Pag nag-shift na po, then nagkakaroon po tayo ng epidemic kasi parang siyang totally bagong flu. And that's what happened with H1N1 and yung mga avian flus. Okay? So yun po yun. That's the reason why viruses mutate because they change so quickly. And if the mutation is good for the virus, tutuloy-tuloy na po yun at dadami na po yung mga viruses. If the mutation was bad for the virus, like humina yung virus, mamamatay na po yung mga anak nun, and that will not be a problem. Okay? So, na-cover na po natin what happened and why viruses mutate. Okay? So, puntahan po natin yung next question. The very practical question is, okay, doktora, the virus mutated. So what's the implications of this in practical terms? Okay. Number one, mas nakakahawa ba siya? From the lab findings, it looks that way. In the practical findings po, we don't really know yet. Kasi po, possible naman ho na nagtra-transmit na mabilis dahil yung mga tao nag-get together naman, nag-iinuman, walang mask. Kumbaga social behavior plays a big part in transmission. So it's not really 100% sure. There are lots of speculations po na mas mabilis kumapit po yung bagong UK variant. But again, human behavior plays a big part in this situation. Okay, kasi kung lahat naman po nakamask, wala naman hong matra-transmit, di ba? Or kung hindi po lumabas ng bahay, di ka talaga mahahanap kahit transmitting siya quickly. Okay? So, what does this mean in practical terms? In practical terms po, number one po, and should we panic? Number one, pinag-aaralan pa po ito. Okay? There's still a lot. Is it more transmissible? Is it really mas nakakahawa? Pinag-aaralan pa po. From the lab, it looks like it. Okay, number two, is it more deadly? From the studies po, hindi naman ho dumadami talaga yung percent na namamatay relative to the percent na nagkasakit. Kaya lang, from practicality's sake po, ang UK is a big first world country. Kaya po nilang mandohin yung 40,000 cases a day. Sa Pilipinas lang po, pag umabot po ng 3,000 cases a day, I don't know what the Philippines is going to do. I personally am going to be very alarmed. Right now, we are just below 2,000 and I'm praying and hoping na hanggang doon na lang. Why? Because our health infrastructure po is not as strong as the UK. Kung yung UK po, matindi na nga yung health infrastructure nila, tayo pa kaya nahihirapan, what more us? Talagang we have only 1,500 ventilators sa Pilipinas, okay? So talagang hindi po kaya yan. And again, even though it's not more deadly, let's say 1% lang ang namamatay, well, 1% of 1 million is still more than 1% of 100,000, di ba? So, it's a numbers game. Kung marami ho talagang may sakit, marami hong mamamatay. Kasi percentages yun eh. Hindi naman ho like 10% bigla yung mamamatay. Hindi po yun. Pero sa dami po na magkakasakit, 1% is still a lot of people. And number two po, people will start to die in the Philippines because we are totally not prepared with our health infrastructure to deal with a surge. Okay. Question, what should the Philippines do about, and tama po ba yung mga airport protocols natin? Right now po, the Philippines has suspended arrivals from the UK muna habang pinag-aaralan po ito. And numerous countries have already done that also. Sa US, hindi naman po totally sinuspend, pero they need to show a negative COVID test before coming. Ako po, I am in favor of this until we find out more. Tingnan ko lang po. Sorry to look down. I am in favor of this po because the Philippines po, we need to be careful about our borders because we don't have, do we have a genetic lab here in the Philippines? Hindi pa po tayo ganun ka-sophisticated like sa UK na nalalaman po nila. Malay natin nandito na po yung strain na yon, ano? So we must protect our borders. It's okay. Sa akin po, I'm okay with UK arrivals na stop muna ho until we find out what's going on. But I'd like to let you know po na even though we stop all flights from the UK, pwede naman ho mag-transit. Basically, magkikita-kita pa rin ho yung mga tao because people can exit from Amsterdam, people can exit from all over. And then, people will meet each other sa mga stopovers po sa mga airport. So, talagang hindi pa po, so, hindi talaga foolproof na stop po muna yung mga flights from UK. Kasi merong mga transit passengers yan eh. But it's still better than not doing anything. So I am in favor of stopping the flights from the UK. And the number 2 suggestion ko po talaga, very, very strict po yung ating 14-day quarantine. Okay na po na meron tayong mga negative swab test requirements. Pero ako po, I am not satisfied with that. And I would like the government to strictly monitor po yung mga LGU, yung mga 14-day requirements po ng mga travelers. For all we know, nandito na ho yung strain na yon, just lurking around before Christmas and January. Ilang thousands a day na po tayo. Hindi po talaga natin makakayanan yon. Okay? So, and the fifth point that I'd like to ask, people keep asking me, Doktora, what about the vaccine? Baka hindi na ho mag-work yung vaccine sa strains, different strains and mutations. At the moment po, the vaccine is still, hindi naman ho talaga ganun kabilis ho nagbago yung COVID virus. It's actually kind of stable and slow compared to other RNA viruses. And again, pag-aaralan pa po yun. And eto po sasabihin ko, if magkaroon talaga ng big change at hindi na po mag-work yung mga vaccines, pwede naman i-adjust din naman yung mga vaccines natin. Kumbaga, there will be magkaka-adjustments pa po based on what happened. Okay, so with regards to the vaccines, I wouldn't be too worried about that, and our scientists are looking at that. And kung kailangan po, gagawa po tayo ng paraan. So, yun po yun. That's my advisory po. As I try to make it as simple as possible, please just keep asking questions na lang po if you'd like to clarify something. I found it really hard for me to be able to explain everything na malinaw. But I'd like to go through the points also very quickly again. Point number 1 po, there's a new mutation that was discovered in the UK. This mutation looks like it's more nakakahawa or more transmissible kasi po mas madali na pong makapasok sa cell. That's mostly in the lab, okay? Hindi pa ho siya talaga proven in real life, but it looks that way, okay? Number 3, the practical changes po nito is that we have to still remain very cautious. No evidence naman po na mas nakakamatay ito, pero pag mas marami pong magkasakit, well, mas marami po talaga. The 1% becomes bigger. I agree with the airport protocols po. Talagang kailangan po yun at dapat ipagtibay sa Pilipinas. And number 5, our vaccines are still working and they can be adjusted if there's any changes. So, yun po yun. That's what's happening sa UK mutation and UK variant, and we will learn more po as time goes on. Etong January, we'll have more talks po on vaccines. What are vaccines? How do they work? Let's invite MB Joshua again kasi ang galing ng batang yun, yung summa cum laude. And we learn more po. And don't panic. The most important po, isipin nyo itong point na to, and I close with this. Kahit sobrang nakakahawa po yung bagong strain, kung kayo po ay nakamask, kung kayo po ay naka-social distancing, kung kayo po, iiwasan nyo yung marami pong tao na pwede pong magkahawaan, you're still going to be safe. Okay? So sa inyo pong lahat, Merry Christmas, and I hope it was good, and looking forward po to the new year. Okay?
From Mr. Marvin D. Sarmiento, Merry Christmas po sa inyo, Doktora.
Thanks.
From
Kayo rin.
Mr. Coral Jr. Rodolfo, Doktora Ana, hello po.
Hi, sir.
From Miss Corazon Rafana Espejo, Merry Christmas po sa inyo, Doktora. God bless po.
Hi, ma'am. God bless you po.
From Mizari Cruz Larin, magandang hapon po.
Zari, how are you? Wala ka bang tanong? I love your questions.
From Mr. Lenny Seminiano, Merry Christmas.
Lenly, how are you?
From Miss Josephine Tolentino, magandang hapon po, Doktora.
Josephine. Ikaw, Reyna, nakuha niyo
From
ba
Miss
yung explanation ng mga UK mutation? Why viruses mutate? Viruses mutate because that's what viruses do.
Yeah, ako, Doktora, well, I have a clinical background naman kasi kaya ako naiintindihan ko siya. But for a lot of people,
Oo, I think
most
it's gonna be the difficult topic eh. Even my husband eh. Oo.
yeah, kasi kahit ako explain ko sa kanila, paano nag-mutate? Ano to, may utak? Ganon katalino. Yun ang unang nilang i-explain. Yeah. But yung explanation niyo po regarding RNA and DNA, and that we have the protein, and that our DNA is made up of protein also, that makes sense. So, protein to protein, magkokopyahan sila, and that's what virus are, di ba?
Magkakamali sa kopyahan. Usually, it's a one-letter, 4 letters po yan eh. Usually, it's a one-letter mistake. And because of the rapid, as you keep dividing and dividing and dividing and dividing so fast, yung DNA kasi may correction step, yung RNA wala, diretso lang sa sa reproduction. So sa reproduction ng reproduction, may magkakamali. Ngayon, kung maganda yung pagkakamali niya at nakatulong sa kanya, mabubuhay yun. Ngayon, kung it was a bad mutation and it made the virus weaker or too strong na pinatay lahat ng host, mamamatay yung strain na yon. I'd like to mention something about yung dating Ebola. Yes. Yung Ebola kasi was so strong that it killed the host. So, yung pag masyadong pinapatay ng virus yung host, wala na siyang malilipatan, it will die. Yun ang problema sa sa COVID, it doesn't kill the host immediately. So there's a lot of time for it to move to another host. Kung nandun, halimbawa, pinatay niyo yung tao in 2 days, wala na siyang bahay, okay? Tapos, ito kasi matagal. So, makakalipat siya talaga. And that's what makes it very transmissible. But again, like what I said, measles, the R number, the transmission number is 15. Can you imagine kung may pumasok na may walang a bunch of kids na walang bakuna, pinasukan sa isang bus and then somebody with measles came in, lahat yun, 15 people in 1 minute. Mabilis ang measles.
Agree.
So, yun. Sige.
From Miss Clara Santos Ortega, Merry Christmas po, Doktora Ana.
Hi, Ma'am Clara. How are you?
From Mr. Luisito Mapoy, Merry Christmas po, Doktora.
Ayan, sir. How are you?
From Miss Rosavilla Chinoso, good afternoon, Doktora. Keep safe always and God bless us more.
Thanks, Rosavilla.
From Mr. Soli, good afternoon po, Doktora.
Hi.
From Miss Cheat G. Gomez, Merry Christmas.
Ma'am Cheat, how are you?
From Mr. Cortez Agolto Rosalinda, Good afternoon po, Doktora. Merry Christmas po.
Hi, Ma'am Rosalinda. How are you?
From Miss Marciano Peña. Good afternoon po.
Hi, kumusta? I think that's my brother-in-law. Kumusta? Or a good friend. Hi.
From Miss Lucita Pabalan. Merry Christmas, Doktora.
Hi, Lucita. Kumusta?
From Miss Laida Matapuno. Good afternoon po, Doktora.
Lides, kumusta?
From Miss Rosalinda Chico Abelio. Good afternoon po, Doktora Ana York Bondo.
Hey, Ma'am. Kumusta?
From Miss Serge Tips, malinaw naman po. Yan, Doktora, naintindihan nila yung ano natin
Yeah,
na
kasi ano talaga eh. You know what? It doesn't matter what variant it is. If you're in our house, hindi ka makahanap ng variant. Ngayon, kung pakalat-kalat ka sa daan, maniwala ka, hahanapin ka na mas mabilis nun.
At saka nakakatakot, parang ano, no? Parang nag-a-adapt si virus. Depende sa ano ba ang ano niya. Basta
That is actually a great term. Yes, great way of putting it. A virus is very, very, very smart. And it's actually, as a doctor, no, in terms of treating, ako mas takot ako sa viral infection na mahirap kasi yung bacterial, a lot of people do die of bacterial infections. Marami kang mga bala. Sa virus, konti lang. And they're smart. Viruses are smart and quick.
I'd like to think it that way also, Doktora. Also, ang nakikita ko dito sa virus, para siyang yung, alam mo yung sa virus sa computer, diba? It's like, ganun yung ano, prinsipyo ng, that's the principle of how virus is sa mga computers natin. They mutate on the binary code. On the computer side naman, it's binary code eh. So, it copies the binary code and then until wala na, mamamatay na lang computer mo one day. Right? So, parang ganun lang din siya. So, okay. Let's see. From Miss Ides Marquez, good afternoon po, Doktora.
Hi, Ides. How are you?
From Miss Maria Cecilia Loyola, hi, Doktora Ana.
Hi, Ma'am.
From Mr. June M. Tudino, good afternoon po, Doc.
Magandang hapon.
From Miss Cindy Abinas Cantillo, good PM po and Merry Christmas.
Oo. Merry Christmas din, Cindy.
From, tapos na po yan. Ito na po tayo.
Another one pa, Ma'am. Kumusta kayo?
From Mr. Dorvin Guevara, well said, Doktora. Salamat po.
Wow, thanks, Darwin.
From Miss Mirna Malyari Peña, hello po, Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Mirna. You know what you sinabi ni Sir Darwin? Sometimes I worry that I'm just talking and, technical yung mga terms, hindi biro ito ha. For people to understand this, it's magaling sila and they listened well. With background siguro yung mga yan, ang hirap eh. Oo.
Pero hindi, Doktora. Maganda kasi talaga din yung pagkaka-explain mo eh. It's actually practical.
Yeah, thank you. Ang dami kong binasang mga post ng kapwa ko, Doktor, who are also experts. My God, more expert pa than me. Kaya lang, expert lang ako with talking to all kinds of people. At yun yung expertise ko. Hindi biro rin yun to be able to translate science into understandable,
Yes, that's the key word. You can translate it in a layman's term after you've read numerous articles about it. Kasi kahit ako, mahihilo na ako, Doc. Mahihilo ako sa dami. Yes. So you've explained it very well po.
And also, that's why I have a question, kasi I realized that hindi talaga magigets lahat from a lecture. Sometimes you wanna clarify stuff. Yun. What does it mean to your relatives in the UK? Kung kayo po ay may kamag-anakan sa UK, it means that dapat kung hindi pa sila nabakunahan, dapat po doble ingat, stay indoors. Kasi there are two components to an epidemic. First of all, the virus itself. Ano ba, nag-mutate ba siya? Ano ba yung transmission niya? Lahat po yan. But the second thing is something that we can control. And that's our behavior. Okay? Ano magagawin mo? Lalabas ka, kakalat-kalat ka, huwag kang mag-mask, ganon. You will really get something. But if you take care of yourself, you follow the COVID rules, huwag kayong magpakasiksikan, doon ka lang sa bahay mo, talagang malaking bagay. Kasi you know why I asked this question? Kasi again, let's go back to Jico's experience. Yung pamangkin ko po na galing po ng Barcelona, Spain, who traveled around Europe noong August, went to Barcelona, Amsterdam, and then Manila, Hong Kong, Manila. Sabi niya talaga, ibang mundo ang Asia. So I hope that awareness, the awareness, we're a vulnerable population because we do not have the health infrastructure. So what we can control is our behavior. We cannot control the transmissibility of the virus. Nangyari ni. Okay? Number two, we can't buy more ventilators. So what we can do, ayusin natin yung sarili natin, Reyna. And for your relatives in the UK, please, I don't care if the people in the UK are not wearing masks at meron ako nakikita doon na mga nag-iikot-ikot. There's actually sa UK what they call the tier 3 lockdown na yung mga tao sa London. Baka daw pa daw mag tier 4. And then ano talaga meron silang rule of 6. Hanggang 6 lang talaga daw ang dapat magkita. Sa
And then
Philippines,
what
rule of
happened?
0. Okay, huwag kayong magkita.
Doktora,
Yun
what
lang.
happened after rule of 6?
Sa rule of 6, I think 6 people can get together if they're not from the same household. Dito sa Pilipinas talaga, wala pa tayong rule na ganun. Pero, kasi mababa pa lang. Imagine 40,000 a day, Rin. That's not a joke, ha? Can you imagine kung ano mangyayari dito sa Pilipinas if it was 40,000 a day? I think there would be mass hysteria and panic. Kasi
Ay,
praning talaga yung mga Pilipino and I like that. Meron silang rule of 6. In fact, yung family ni Prince William at yung family ni Prince Edward, nagkita lang. And somehow they walk through a garden together. 9 na daw sila. So pinulahan sila na bakit sila naging 9 when they are not from the same household. So yun. Meron silang rule of 6. Dito sa Pilipinas, wala pa tayong rule of 6. Pero please have caution naman because what can I tell you? It's bad.
okay.
So
Yeah, that
yun.
is so sad. From Miss Julieta Estrella Ragasa. Merry Christmas, Doktora.
Ma'am Julieta, take care po.
From Miss Mila Fenis. Merry Christmas po, Doktora, and Happy New Year. God bless you po always and stay safe.
Hi, Ma'am Mila. Thank you. Kayo rin po.
From Mr. Nino Mauricio, does it mean with the vaccine, you'll get immune with the COVID? That's his question.
Opo, yes. Yun po yung point po ng bakuna. And we will go into that. What is a vaccine? Why is the COVID vaccine different po from the classic vaccines? Magandang usapan yan.
From one of our YouTube viewer, Mr. Raymond Alan Sese, salamat po. Merry Christmas po, Doktora. Kung idadagdag po ang holiday factor and new strain, tingin niyo po ba, Doktora, very likely po ba tataas ulit ang quarantine levels tulad ng dati?
I am praying and hoping po that we won't reach that point because our economy will suffer and talagang marami pong mamamatay. The Philippines cannot handle that. So, I'm just hoping po and stressing personal responsibility po ngayong holidays. When will we know how people acted and what happened? First week of January, pag marami na hong nilalagnat, oh my gosh. Hanggang second, third week. Buong January po ma-assess po natin kung ano po talagang mangyari. So it's not too late for us to amend our behavior and to follow the rules. It's only December 26. Kung nagkamali po kayo ng December 25, bumawi kayo ng December 31.
From Miss Rowena Mariano Lakad, hello po, Doktora. Maligaya at mapayapang Pasko po sa inyo. Ingat po lagi.
Si Weng is a personal friend of mine. Love you.
From Miss Gingalbo, thanks for the live talk. Merry Christmas.
Ging, thanks also.
From Miss Cindy Avinas Cantillo. Curious lang po, kung may bad virus, is there possible good virus? Just asking po. Thank you.
Is there a good virus? Um, Viruses can cause cancer. Pag-iisipan ko yung anong yan na. Let me go into that question. I would like to know also. Let me think. Okay. Wala akong nalalaman na good viruses. Ito yung alam kong good bacteria. Yes eh. Ito, ang alam ko kasi, dun sa genetic, ano po, Ma'am Cindy, dun sa genetic, ano po, dun po sa genetic cancer fighting po, there are actually good viruses eh. But I will go into details about that. I really don't know, but that might be an interesting topic, ano, Reina? I know that there's good bacteria. Merong bacteria po na kumakain ng ano, spilled petrol. Ginamit po yun ng Gulf Coast spills. So sige, maganda yan. Re-research ko yan, ma'am. I like that.
Yes. I like her question, Doktora.
I like that question. I'm gonna go into the details of that later on. Kasi I don't really know, but I like that.
Me naman, I like the attitude towards the question kasi she's looking she's looking into the positive. Kasi puro bad virus ang dating ng virus eh.
Bad virus.
Yes. So she's looking into meron bang good virus? Kasi kung merong virus, 'di ba? Ang laking relief nun.
Sandali, I think they use that in basic science. Let's go and maalamin natin yan. Pero talagang sa akin, as a clinician, hindi pa ako natuwa na may viral infection yung pasyente ko. Wala pa talaga sa akin. But I think sa basic science po, they might be using viruses po sa to develop cancer-fighting drugs. Let me look into that. Pero wala pa akong instance na sinabing, yay, na ganun si ganon. Wala pa.
From Miss Hilda Manalo Linaak, hi, Doktora, Merry Christmas.
Wow, that's my insurance agent. Ma'am Hilda, how are you? And stay safe. I hope your kids are okay.
From Miss Joanne Viray Escoto, watching from Las Piñas, Merry Christmas, Doktora.
Joanne, how are you?
From Miss Reg, Merry Christmas, Doktora Anna York Bondok, Mayor J, and Kuya Bench. We love you.
Thanks, Reg. We love you too. Laki na ni Ice.
From Miss Adriline Samulde, Merry Christmas, Doktora.
Hi, Adriline.
From Miss Barbie Taruk Olap, gandang hapon po, Doktora.
Hi, Barbie.
From Miss Rizel Clarin Munoz, Merry Christmas po, Doktora.
How are you?
From Miss Donaline Delia Lisangan, Merry Christmas, Doktora.
Merry Christmas din, Donabel. Inulong ko lang po yung ilaw ko. Sorry. Ayan. Gumabi na. Ayan.
From Miss Barbie Taruk Olap, Merry Christmas, Doktora. God bless po.
Hi, Barbie.
From Miss Shirley De La Cruz, thanks po, Doktora, sa info. Parang plants din po palang virus, may mutation. God bless po.
Actually, that's actually correct kasi they are living things eh. So talagang as they reproduce, they mutate. Yun.
From Miss Serena Vicencio Galoy, God bless, Doktora, and to your family. Salamat po. Mas alarming po ito talaga. Mas doble ingat po, at least ngayon pa lang po inform na ang tao sa new strain sa ibang bansa.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm really afraid na, sinuspend lang ho yung flights on the 24th. We don't know those who came in before. And we do have a genetic sequencing lab, but of course, wala pa tayo sa UK levels. Malayo pa. Sa Singapore, meron na raw. Ayan, Reyna, sa Singapore meron na. Kanina lang ni-report.
Which one? The virus?
Strain.
Oh my goodness. Ay. That's why siguro sobrang higpit ngayon ng Singapore.
Yes, naghigpitan na naman ang mga airports talaga.
The reason I know this kasi you know naman, Doctor, I have pamangkin in Singapore, and she wasn't able to go home to us this holiday. So sobrang lungkot niya doon, and mukha namang daw nagtataas na naman ng level of quarantine sila. So yun, kasi ang daming naglabasan din this Christmas eh.
True. Talagang January, magkakaalaman tayong lahat.
Oh my God. I hope the 2021 talaga is not sana inubos na lahat ng tragedy, lahat ng this 2020. I hope.
Ako rin.
From Adi Anishete. Hello, Doktora. Masaya at magrasyang Pasko po sa inyo. Keep safe and God bless po.
Kababayan ko yan. Konsehal, how are you?
From Miss Rowena Mariano Lacad. Love din po namin kayo.
Yes, her daughter is such a successful hairdresser sa Canada, si Novi.
From Miss Teresa M. Tungol. Hello, Doktora. Merry Christmas po. Very well explained po.
Thanks, Teresa. Thank you.
From Miss Donalyn Delia Linsangan. Merry Christmas, Doktora. Sa ngayon po kaya yung new strain wala pa sa atin? Knowing po DOH lagi nagde-delay ng details sa stat. Oh no!
If you ask me, there is a high probability na nandito na po. So dapat mag-ingat po tayo because so many Filipinos are working in UK. Hindi ko minamasama sa kanila yon. It's a fact. Some people came home. By interviewing Jico and Syra, we realized that not all the LGUs followed the 14-day quarantine. Tama? Inalabas lang yung mga bata without even advising them talaga or checking upon them. So it's highly possible talaga.
Oh, nakakaiyak to.
And we don't even have a genetic sequencing lab. Or we do have one, but it's not that, budget. Lahat-lahat na. I'm enjoining the genetic sequencing lab to start genetic sequencing this virus na talaga sa Pilipinas. It's
Ang
your
nakakatakot.
PJ, the genetic sequencing lab.
Ang nakakatakot niyan, Doktor, hindi pa nga tayo tapos sa current virus.
Meron ng bagong strain.
Bago. Oh no.
Oh no talaga.
Talaga.
So for those who are planning to go out sa New Year, consider this information that I gave you.
Sobra, no? So, highlight lang natin, Doktora, yung sinabi nyo na that the characteristics of this new strain is number 1, ito ay mabilis makahawa.
Yeah, mabilis makahawa in the lab. Pero mukhang all signs and symptoms are pointing towards it being truth in real life, okay? Hindi naman mas nakakamatay, but as I said, 1% of 1 million is still more than 1% of 10,000, di ba? Kasi habang dumadami yung mga 1% pa rin yun na namamatay, so dumadami si 1%.
Yes, meron pa rin. Meron at meron pa rin.
Meron, marami.
From Mr. Dodi TV, hi Ate Ana.
Si Benji na sa kanila ngayon.
From Miss Eden Nabinal Ignacio, Merry Christmas po.
Hi Eden.
From Mr. Dodi TV, hi, good afternoon.
Kumusta kayo?
Miss Remy Zapanta, Merry Christmas, Dr. Ana, God bless po.
How are you? Take care po.
From Mr. J. B. Malyari, Merry Christmas po sa inyo, Doktora.
Jay, how are you?
From Miss Salak Dungo, Elisa, Merry Christmas, God bless po. Watching from Jeddah, taga-Apalit, Pampanga ko po.
Wow, ma'am, ingat rin po. All around the world, there's a problem mo po. From Apalit si ma'am, layo. Take care. Nice to hear from you po.
From Mr. Arnie Dominguez, Merry Christmas, Doktora.
Arnie, stay safe. Have a healthy 2021.
From Miss Virgie Manansala Salvador, Merry Christmas po, Doktora. God bless po.
Thank you, Ma'am Virgie.
From Miss Adi Anishete, Kaya po. Doktora, I'm fine po. Salamat po for acknowledging and thanks for all your inputs po. Very informative and helpful in this time of pandemic.
Adi, ingat ka.
That's all that we have for tonight, Doktora.
Okay. So sa inyo po, we'll be back on Monday. Rest muna tayo bukas para pag-isipan nyo yung bagong UK variant. Sa inyo po lahat, have a safe and healthy holidays. Okay? Ingat po. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Reina.